So in this video, we're going to discuss how to analyze the data that we've collected as a class on the Charles's Law experiment, the relationship between temperature and volume. So what you should have in Google Classroom is a spreadsheet that looks something like this. It says Charles Law Lab Data Analysis 2015-16. At the bottom, there will be multiple tabs here for different periods. You're going to first want to select the period for your class. And then you'll see all the data from the different groups that were in that period. What we want to try to do is figure out what is the general relationship between these two variables, as we did in class, from our class data for the averages. So what we want to do is we want to try to create a graph and create a visual that's going to show us what the relationship between these two variables is. So in order to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the first temperature data. You're then going to click and drag to highlight all of the data points. I'm going to slide over and then down until I get all my data points selected. Again, select every data point that's in your period. What that's going to do is it's going to allow me to manipulate that data to represent it however I want. So I'm going to go to, because we want to create a graph, I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to scroll down to Chart. And now once I click Insert Chart, there's going to pop up a bunch of options that I can use. We want to create what's called a scatter plot, something that's just going to plot these data points all over the place. So I'm going to click on Chart Types, and then here I'm going to scroll down until I get to something that says Scatter. Okay? Once I've gotten to Scatter, I'm going to click on the one that says Scatter Chart. Okay? And what you should see now is over here, all those data points have been automatically graphed for us by the computer. This is the type of graph we want to use. So we're going to click Insert. Now I've created a graph that has all of my data points for this class on it. However, this graph is pretty messy. It just looks like a bunch of random points. So we need to do a few things. We need to create a title for the graph. We need to label the axes. And we need to create what's called a best fit line. A best fit line is going to be a line that approximates the data. Clearly, if we look at this, there's not going to be a line that connects every data point. That would just be connecting the dots. We want to come up with something linear, something that's a nice straight line that is as close to the data as we can get. So in order to do that, we're going to click on the chart, and then in the top right corner of this little button, we're going to click Advanced Chart. Advanced Edit. What should pop up is a spreadsheet that looks like this, but it gives us a bunch of options. The first thing we have is the title. So what are we going to title this? We want to title this what the y-axis versus the x-axis is. It's temperature versus volume of a gas. That's what we're relating. Okay? You should see that pop up right here in the middle. If you want to change the font or the color, feel free to do that as well. Okay? We scroll down a little bit from title to axes. So the horizontal axis, going left to right, our x-axis, we want to title that. Well, what's on that axis? That's going to be our temperature. And we want to provide the units in Celsius. Celsius. Okay? We then also want to change the label of the vertical axis. So if you click on where it says horizontal and change that to left vertical, you can now title this, which was our other variable, which was volume. Volume measured in milliliters. Again, you can change the color, the font, whatever you need. So now when you click off it, you should have two labels here on your axes. The last thing to do is to create that line. So we're going to go all the way down here to the bottom where you see the word trend line. And sometimes on your Chromebooks, guys, this doesn't show up. I'm not exactly sure why. If it doesn't show up, just close this, insert the chart again, and just start over. We're going to click on the trend line and we're going to choose a linear function. Because remember, we want to make something that's a line. So if we choose something that's linear, boom, we will see the line populate onto the graph. And that is what is called a best fit line. It approximates the data. You can clearly tell it doesn't even connect any of the dots in this set of data. And that's okay. What it does is it's an approximation. It's kind of like an average to a certain extent of what all the data points are. But as we can see, as temperature is going up, volume looks like it's going up. So based on this set of data, we can see that there's a direct relationship between temperature and volume. You need to figure out what the relationship is for your class's data. So once you've done this, you can change the color of your data points. You can change the name for the line if you want. But basically what everybody needs to have is a title, axes label, and a best fit line drawn on their graph. Once you click update, that will populate on your set of data.